Well, gang, it seems like we got another mystery at our hands, because you see they're now talking about the alien bodies, and I want to really quickly shout out the homie Wild Relic for linking me this. This is where they talk about the alien bodies. It's gonna be a shorter one. I have not seen it. We're checking this out live. Like this video if you love your mama. Subscribe if you're brand new. Roll it.
Mr. Burlison, I'll recognize you for 5 minutes of questions, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Elizondo, does any branch of the United States government or defense contractors possess technology?
They do.
Sir, there's documentation that I believe was submitted for the record that was approved for release by the U.S. Pentagon, by the Department of Defense Office of Pre-Publication Security Review, and it states one of the reasons why my predecessor program, OSAP, was trying to collect material of unknown origin.
Was it successfully collected?
It was not. What happened is that there was an aerospace contract company that requested to divest itself of the material that was collected in the 1950s. Right. Unfortunately, that didn't actually occur.
So let's dive into that. That's the Bigelow Aerospace, correct?
Bigelow.
So
yes, sir.
There was a journalist, Christopher Sharp, who said that there was a transfer between Lockheed Martin, Bigelow Aerospace, and the CIA allegedly blocked this. Can you describe that?
What I can say is that it was blocked. Why it was blocked, I can only surmise. I was part of some conversations later on with some of those contract personnel where they had told all of us that is accurate. What we required was a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force in order to make that complete, and that never occurred. And so when Secretary Mattis became Secretary of Defense, I decided it would be appropriate for me to try to receive a memo from him as SecDef, as Secretary of Defense, if we could not get a memo from the Secretary of the Air Force to transfer that material.
So if that material exists...
Okay, pump the brakes real quick. Pump the brakes real quick. Well, I read this comment and it makes sense now a lot more than usual. And I quote, "So he can only blow the whistle on things the people he's blowing the whistle about allow him to blow the whistle on. That's called a spokesperson." I guess he was right. No Diddy, I think he was right. Because, guys, like, come on, man. Like, just let us know, man. Just let it all out. What? Yeah, ¿por qué? Let it all out. Let it all out.
This today, who's in possession?
Sir, I wouldn't be able to have that conversation in an open hearing. We'd probably have to have that.
Okay, my question to you then is, if we were in a secure setting, if we were in a SCIF, would you be able to provide or get access to something, whether it's visuals or material that we could put our hands on, or biologics, that would convince me, that would show me that we have non-human origins?
Sir, that decision would not be mine. That would be to the gatekeepers still in the U.S. government.
And who would we... So
yeah, nah, that's about right. So he's just a spokesperson. He's just a spokesperson. Come on, man, let us know, bro. Let us know. Two of the biggest questions we need answers to. What happens after we die, and what happens, or are we alone in the universe, right? Yeah, that's the question. These are two of the biggest questions, and you suckers can answer one of those right now. I mean, technically, even if they don't answer, people that believe they exist, believe they exist. People that don't want to believe, they will not believe. Of course, there are a lot of drones out there as well. When I say drones, I'm saying them metaphorically. There are a lot of drones, bots. They would just trust everything the government says. So the day the government comes out and tells, yes, we have aliens, even though they already said they see UFOs, they have biological beings, right? They have reverse engineered crafts. They have vehicles from different planets that are not originated from on this earth, right? This is a conspiracy, and this is something that you hear all the time, that the reason they don't want to reveal it is because there's just gonna be chaos everywhere, you know, like religiously there's just gonna be chaos everywhere. I don't know if I believe that, or perhaps there will be. COVID, prime example, man. You guys know what happened, and that was like almost 5 years ago. Let that sink in, guys. Let that sink in. Time flies just like that. So knowing what happened around the COVID, I could only imagine what's gonna happen if they announce that, yes, aliens coming down, aliens coming down. Everybody's gonna go rush and get their toilet paper, man. Everybody's gonna hoard on the toilet papers.
So if you were in our shoes, where would you go from here? How would you...
The U.S. government.
And who would we... So if you were in our shoes, where would you go from here? How would you get that information? A lot of times we just don't know who to ask because we don't know where to go next. So if you were in our shoes, where would you go?
Well, I prefer to answer that question in a closed session. However, we established Arrow for that very purpose, and unfortunately, under its previous leadership, it failed. So one would hope that they would have the authorities necessary to do that. Let's hope that this new iteration of leadership will be successul.
He cannot talk about it. He want to talk about it in a closed setting.
It's simply about material, or is there... In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected.
There we go.
Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non...
Bro, like, he's dodging all the questions. But the only thing is, like, he said that we do own the biologics. Okay, but let's see.
Non-human life form.
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace, and they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
So in other words, yes, they have made that with us. They have communicated with us, but without saying hello, essentially. They are communicating with us, but without saying hello. Without using, I guess, verbal. Of course, there has been conspiracies, like we have been speaking with them, whether that's like verbal or not. You know, there has been conspiracies that we have been working alongside them. How much of that is true? For sure, I couldn't tell you, but
the United States government and our contractors, are they pulling technology from this? Or they're reverse engineering this?
Sir, as I previously stated, and please forgive me, I am not authorized to discuss specifics about crash retrievals. I signed documentation with the U.S. government. What I can say was, after a very thorough review process by the Pentagon, what I wrote about, and that was my limit, unfortunately, that I was given.
Guys, check out this video on the screen. Well, they exist, but they don't want to talk about it by the looks. Check out this video on the screen. We have one of those clips in this one that I don't think you guys gonna like too much, man. Check out this video and I'll see you there.